All right, y'all. Monday, June 23rd, 2025, Manhattan, federal court, Puffy trial. Got my man Bato here. What's your name, man?
Yeah, my name is Bato, guys. I'm a rapper, I'm a journalist, cultural commentator with Hot 97.
Now, Bato, are you an inside the courtroom observer?
Yeah, man, I'm in the overflow room, but I'm there. I'm hearing every single testimony, seeing all the evidence they put on the screen. I'm there, man.
How long have you been coming to the trial?
Man, I've been here every day pretty much. I was even here during jury selection, so I was here like from the get-go.
So you haven't missed a day?
Never missed a day.
And you're inside the courtroom?
Inside the courtroom.
All right, so Bato, what was your feeling about Puffy's case and Puffy 4 months ago, and what's your feeling about Puffy's case and Puffy today?
So I'll be honest, right before I arrived at the trial, I kind of was leaning towards the side that he was guilty. If I'm gonna be honest, right? Now fast forward to today, I'm honestly leaning more towards not guilty. And there's a lot of layers for that. I just feel like there's way too many inconsistencies in regards to these testimonies from the women. And on top of that, I feel that, and after reading a little bit of Cornell law and how to specifically find what you need to prove in order to convict somebody of the RICO, sex trafficking, and the Mann Act, I don't feel that they have any of those smoking guns at all.
Now, Bato, what are some of the inconsistencies? Give me an example of some inconsistencies you heard.
One of the inconsistencies, and I mean, this is one, I'll say one was from one of the male entertainers named Daniel Phillips. He was the first guy they called, where they were trying to spin it as if he was getting paid for basically only to have sex, and that he hated his time with Puff and Cassie. He described one time where he witnessed Diddy beat Cassie, and then he never felt comfortable going back to see the two of them after that. But then one of the defense attorneys presented a text message from him saying immediately after that, "Oh, I love you guys," and this was after he saw the alleged attack on Cassie. And then so that kind of discredits his claim that he felt uncomfortable after he saw this alleged attack, because now they proved through text messages that he was not uncomfortable. So this guy, as far as I'm concerned, was a willing accomplice in these hotel nights. It was not showing up feeling uncomfortable, and if he was, well, his words kind of counter his behavior, So that's one right there. And then another one is just in regards to especially Jane Doe. I thought Cassie was a little inconsistent. Actually, we'll start from there. The biggest inconsistency out of all in regards to the woman was Brianna Bongala, where she claimed she was hung off a balcony on September 26, 2016 in Cassie's Los Angeles apartment. Now, what the defense did to counter those arguments is they presented hotel logs in New York City from the dates of September 24th through October 9th, 2016.
To September 29th.
Oh, so September 29th? Okay, my apologies. And then during those dates, she was not in Los Angeles at all. She was in New York City at the Trump Hotel. And she claims that she was in Los Angeles on September 26th when this happened. And then, so that just completely debunks that entire story. The story did not happen. And on top of that, Cassie also said that she saw that happen herself in her own testimony. So now if you not only are proven through word of mouth, but you're proving through logins in hotels that you were not in Los Angeles, you were in New York, and Cassie, one of the star witnesses and victims, is also saying she saw that, shit, you might have to discredit part of Cassie's testimony now.
Bato, was Cassie forced and coerced, or was she a willing participant?
I think she was a willing participant. Because, and I mean, one might debate me on that, right? And again, one might say, oh, you're not looking out for the women. Granted, I got female cousins all the time, right? I can only imagine talking about this kind of stuff with them. But, there's a lot of text messages that, and one of the text messages I believe says something along the lines of, "I want to freak off forever," or something like that. Like, you can't say 10 years later that you hated this so much, but then like in the heat of the moment, you're saying that, right? And clearly she didn't expect to have this viewed in federal court 10 years later, right? But hey, if you have that in writing, that's physical evidence right there for the defense to counter whatever they're trying to slap on him from the prosecution.
And what about the fact that she reached out to a lot of the male entertainers herself and even saw some of them some days when Puffy wasn't around?
Yeah, man. Like, I think that is very, very suspicious on her behalf, and this doesn't make her look good. It makes her look less and less innocent as we dive into that more, man. It's very fishy, man. It's very fishy.
Bato, Jane Doe, a willing participant or forced?
Oh my God, willing participant. That probably was like the most embarrassing testimony for the prosecution, as a matter of fact, because there was multiple times where she was leveraging her complicitness in the freak-offs as leverage to get what she wanted out of Puff. For example, there was one time where she was jealous that Puff was taking Young Miami out to Turks and Caicos and not her. So she told her, if you don't get back from your vacation right now, we're never gonna have a freak off again. I don't know, to me, if you're leveraging that over somebody's head to get what you want out of, like, you know, luxury goods, vacations, basically stuff bought for you.
Diamond bracelets, diamond necklaces.
Right? You don't look like you're so traumatized. You look like you're using that because you know your status as an attractive woman, that you can leverage that over rich men. It happens all the time.
Bato, when you would hear that a lot of the government witnesses met with the government 24 times, Jane Doe 27 times with Mia, what would that do? And the immunity deals that they were given, how did that make you feel as an observer?
Well, it made me feel like something was going on as an observer. It made me feel like there was a whole alternate agenda here. I'm not trying to promote no conspiracy or whatnot, but what I'm saying though is that's not a good look. That's not a good look, especially when Jane Doe was with Mia. Jane Doe was with Diddy up until he got arrested, right? She's basically, like, now in that heat of the moment, she's basically being told you're either an accomplice or you're a victim. Pick your poison here. So she obviously picked the victim, right? She don't want to get tied into this whole thing. God forbid it starts picking up on the side of the prosecution. So she chose victim. Now, what does that do? Okay, she's not putting herself in the position as like, oh, I'm a victim. Meanwhile, Puff is paying for her rent. Puff is also paying for her attorney. I spoke with some people that are prosecutors themselves, and they're just covering this case on their own time. And I asked them, as through the lens of a prosecutor, if you know the man you're trying to put away in prison is paying for one of these witnesses' lawyers, are you still going to find this witness credible to take the stand? They told me a hard no, and they're even kind of baffled at the fact how they brought her to the stand to begin with.
Bato, what about Mia and Mia's testimony, meeting with the government 27 times and saying, and when Brian Steele asked her, why did you meet with them so many times? She says, I wanted them to understand, I wanted so we can understand my story. And what do you think about her testimony?
Man, I think her testimony was just kind of like embarrassing too, because, you know, a lot of inconsistencies with her claims that she was like terrorized by him within 4 years afterwards, almost chasing around the time when Puff got arrested. She was saying that I missed all the times we had together. They meant so much to me. She's reaching out to D-Rock, his head of security.
Posting stuff on her Instagram, pictures.
Yeah. You know, it just, she did not seem like she was so terrorized. And I don't know. She could honestly be mad that she got fired, and then she ended up like having a little secret affair with Diddy. And then meanwhile, she's acting like she's all friends with Cassie. And that whole story didn't add up. Did not believe it, man. Did not believe it.
What about the blowing up the car, Kid Cudi's car?
So that was suspicious to me because they found female evidence on the car. They did not find any male evidence or DNA on the car. I should say DNA, excuse me. They only found female DNA on the car. So they're saying that Puff did it. Well, it's hard to say that Puff did it when his DNA was not found at the scene of the crime. He was never there at all when it happened. He was somewhere else when it happened. He was not there when it happened at all. And if it did happen, it certainly was not Puff that did it.
Bato, Puffy's legal team, did they do a good job or not?
Oh man, they're killing it. There's like this, especially in Nicole Westmoreland. Nicole Westmoreland, I gotta say, she's probably the best attorney on the team, in my personal opinion. They're doing a phenomenal job. I thought they did an amazing job, especially cross-examining Brianna Bondola. They did a great job. Was it Nicole Westmoreland, Sean, that cross-examined Cassie?
No, that was Esteveo.
That was, okay, yeah. Well, she did a great job, too.
She did, too.
She did a great job with that. Dawn Richard, I thought they completely mopped the floor with Dawn Richard. But not everybody knows this, but she was also featured on Puff's latest album, the Love Album, in 2023. That's also
and she was also suing Puffy for $6 million.
$6 million, and yet you was called up to feature on the album like, what, a year prior to all that with your lawsuit?
Right, fear for your life, but
Yeah.
then you're calling them back saying, I want to come back and work with you.
And work with you. No, man. I didn't believe her one bit. Sorry, Dawn. But,
What about the fact that a lot of the witnesses were suing Puffy for money and had immunity agreements?
yeah, that is, okay. That gets fishy in itself because you know that they're an accomplices right there. So you know that like, if they have immunity agreements, they got something else to hide too. I know Brianna Bondola, I keep bringing back to her, but she was also a star witness who had an immunity agreement, and she basically kind of lied on that stand by saying so many times that when like it got to a point where the defense asked her, tell us about your meeting with the government from 2 days ago, 2 days before her testimony, she says, I don't remember. I'm like, what are you talking about? You asked me what I did 2 days ago, I can tell you what I did 2 days ago. I was working 2 days ago. I was writing my article 2 days ago. What were you doing 2 days ago? You can't tell me? As far as I'm concerned, I don't even believe she's sober. I don't even believe she's fully sober. I believe she's still doing some drugs behind the scenes. All right, like you gotta be, or you're just like straight up a bad person. You're a bad person, and that is just that is despicable.
Bato, if Bato was on the jury, what do you come back with?
If I'm on the jury, first of all, I made this joke. If I was on this jury, I'd probably have to be excused for cause. Realistically, they're gonna find me a problem once I start speaking my mind. But let's say if I am on this jury and they finesse through it, I'm ruling not guilty. I am, and I'm probably gonna get into
Why, Bato?
Why? Like I said, way too many inconsistencies, and let's say I'm on this jury, and then this is right around the time that I happen to have read a little bit of, Cornell law and about what to look for, how to prosecute somebody with the Mann Act. And first of all, you have to prove that, and when you're transporting these individuals across state lines for alleged illegal sexual activity, you have to prove that there's a third party profiting off of it. As far as I'm concerned, they have not proven that once. They have not proved that Puff made money. They only proved that Puff lost money during this, right? You also have to prove that the sexual activity is illegal, not just plain sex. You have to prove that it's illegal activity of what they're doing in regards to that nature.
Now, Bato, give us that example. Remember you was talking about the porn industry right before we started. Give that example.
So here's an example of how this doesn't, of how this could honestly be argued of why you shouldn't apply the Mann Act to this case, right? So in the porn industry, when actresses get flown out to other states in the country to film scenes, who is paying for that flight realistically? Is it going to be the woman that's paying for the flight, or is it going to be the porn company? It's going to be the company. And let alone in the music industry, film industry, the entertainer themselves never pays for their flight. It's always the company. So let's say specifically for the porn industry, they pay for their flight. They get flown from Miami to Los Angeles and they film a scene. And they end up having sex because that's part of the industry. Is that technically transportation right there? Is that the Mann Act? Is that prostitution? No. They're getting paid. That's part of their job. They're going to have sex on camera and they get paid for that. And they get flown across state lines. Is that illegal though? No, that's not illegal. That's part of their industry right there. So same stuff right here. Apply that to the Puff case, right? These people are not prostitutes. They are male strippers, they are male dancers, entertainers, whatever you want to call it.
And they work for a company and they're getting paid. The company, they're independent contractors of another company.
And the company is totally legal. It's not illegal in any state in the United States of America for there to be a male stripping service where you can call up and they pull up and they start taking off their clothes in front of these people, right? That is completely legal. That's what they were paying for. They were not paying for escort service or prostitution service. That's why you're not hearing the prosecution use the term escort in the trial, because they're not escorts. They are male strippers. So when they get paid, they're gonna get paid either way because that's their service, right? And so when they have sex, oh, okay, well, that was their willing choice to do so. And if they get paid a little extra, all the defense has got to say is that's a tip. They're strippers. They are not prostitutes. They're gonna, if they get paid a little more, that's a tip. They weren't getting tipped for the sex. Maybe some might see it as that, but they're not prostitutes, is what you have to remember. So it's not, if they were prostitutes and you flew them across state lines, I think it will be credible to apply the Mann Act, but they're not. So therefore, you can't apply the Mann Act or the sex trafficking.
Bato, talk about, did you hear any testimony where Cassie and or Jane Doe kept in contact with these male entertainers when Puffy wasn't around and got with them when Puffy wasn't around on their own time?
Do I recall what you're saying?
Yeah.
I you know what? Oh man, I have to look back on my notes to fully confirm. I don't want to say nothing that I can't 100% confirm off the top of my head, but it is confirmed though that she was talking with, I believe, Daniel Phillips on her own time via text.
What about when Jane Doe jumped on that private jet and flew out to Vegas?
Yeah, no, Jane Doe was 100% intimately involved. I believe, was it Cabral? The guy's name was? Yeah. And he was a legitimate porn star too, that guy, not to mention. So she was talking with him.
She kept in contact with him when Puff wasn't around.
Yeah, and then while they were, her and Puff were on a break, she had basically a separate freak-off without Puff. So it's hard to argue that she was coerced into doing these acts, right, when she was having the same acts and while on her own time when she was on a break with Puff, with other people and other high-profile rappers. They didn't mention who, but there were other rappers, and I don't know. There's a lot of speculation who that rapper was. I'm not saying that name out of respect for them. Out of respect.
Hey, Bato, give him your social media.
Yes,
man.
guys. Thank you. So, shout out Sean G for having me. Yeah, my social media. I'm on Instagram, TikTok. It's Bato BATO.official_1.
All right. No YouTube?
No YouTube. We're gonna start YouTube soon, though. All
right, y'all. Listen, all those links are gonna be underneath this video.
Much love.
Y'all go follow my man Bato, and Bato, we appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, Sean G.
Let me ask you this: how do you think the verdicts are gonna turn out when they go to the jury?
Oh, I think it's at least be, if it's not guilty, it's gonna be a hung jury, mistrial.
My man. Peace, Bato.
Peace, guys.
Peace.